作为一个不是松江本地人的我来说
As someone who's not a local resident of Songjiang, it seems Dongding business building is so deserted. Does anyone know why? It seems there are no businesses inside, and no people either.
Lately, the Shanghai office market space has been facing various pressures. Corporate leasing demand has been sluggish, leading to a historic low in Shanghai office rents at the end of last year, the lowest in nearly a decade. Meanwhile, the vacancy rate in the Shanghai office market continues to rise. Several market institutions have released data indicating a decrease in net absorption and rent levels in the Shanghai office market in 2023 compared to the previous year. According to data from JLL, as of the end of 2023, the vacancy rate for Grade A office spaces was 21.8%, an increase of 5.1 percentage points from 2022, reaching a nearly 10-year high. The data shows that the net absorption of Grade A office spaces in Shanghai in 2023 was 390,000 square meters, a 38% decrease compared to the previous year, far below the annual average of 720,000 square meters over the past decade. Faced with market instability, companies are adopting a cautious approach, opting for lease renewals rather than new leases or expansions. This has resulted in an oversupply of office spaces in the market. Data reveals that several office projects were delayed in entering the market during the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to a total supply increase of 1.55 million square meters in 2023, surpassing the annual average of 1.03 million square meters over the past 10 years. Shanghai, as the city with the highest office space inventory in the country, is no exception. Even with the continuous drop in Shanghai office rents, it has not been able to stop the exodus of foreign capital. On January 22nd, there were reports that the global asset management giant BlackRock was selling Shanghai office buildings at a discount of 30% below cost, even specifying the location as one of the twin commercial buildings on the north bank of Changfeng in Putuo District, Shanghai. BlackRock purchased the two buildings in 2018 for 1.2 billion yuan, with a total area of 27,800 square meters. Now it is selling them for approximately 840 million yuan, which amounts to a loss of 360 million yuan in just 5 years. This news immediately sparked speculation in the market about whether BlackRock's China strategy has changed, especially in light of its earlier announcement of a series of personnel appointments in the Asia-Pacific region. A BlackRock spokesperson later clarified that both BlackRock's wholly owned mutual fund company and its joint mutual wealth management company in Shanghai are operating normally and declined to comment on specific investment projects. The company will continue to focus on long-term development strategy in China to meet the investment needs of domestic investors and help them achieve their financial goals. Although BlackRock did not reveal the identity of the buyer, it confirmed the sale. Foreign companies have always been an important consumer of high-end office spaces in China. In recent years, foreign capital has started to reduce its investments in China, with some even completely discontinuing their business operations in the country. For instance, Vanguard Group completely halted its business in China last year and closed its Shanghai office in November. The exodus of these foreign investments has had a significant impact on the Chinese office market. In addition to foreign capital, internet companies are also a contributing factor to the sharp decline in net absorption of office spaces in first-tier Chinese cities. In recent years, many Chinese companies have needed to reduce expenses. During the golden era, many internet companies were willing to spend on offices, but the recent crackdown on the internet industry by the Chinese government and market instability, cost reduction, and efficiency have become the strategic focus for these internet giants. These giants are either reducing office space or downgrading their consumption, moving from premium office areas to more affordable office spaces. For example, in Beijing, Zhongguancun and Wangjing, which used to have the largest concentrations of internet companies, have seen many internet companies withdraw in recent years. Companies like ByteDance, Microsoft, and iQIYI have all vacated their offices in Zhongguancun, while food delivery platform Meituan has prematurely terminated a lease for 30,000 square meters in Wangjing. Apart from the office space market, the Chinese real estate market in general also has been experiencing a continuous decline. Despite reducing down payments for home purchases in major cities, including official additional mortgage loans, and allowing significant price reductions, the Chinese real estate market remains sluggish. The belief that top-tier cities would always be a good investment has become a thing of the past, and the number of foreclosures due to default has reached a new high. Economists believe that the stimulus policies currently implemented by the government are insufficient to reverse the property market's downward trend, and this year the situation in the Chinese real estate market may be worse than ever before, potentially causing significant economic impact. In 2022, the government decided to adjust the real estate market, causing property prices to continually decline, with some even falling back to their purchase prices. Eerily, a Chinese media outlet, points out that the real estate sector is an essential pillar of economic development. Despite various support measures introduced at the national level, the real estate industry is still undergoing an adjustment phase, or one might say, a profound restructuring. The commentary suggests that the real estate industry is experiencing a slowdown and requires more precise support measures to boost it. It also suggests granting more authority to local governments for market regulation. The Chinese National Bureau of Statistics released data stating that the sales area of commercial housing nationwide was 1.1 billion square meters last year, down 8.5% from the previous year. Among these, the sales area of residential properties decreased by 8.2%, and the sales volume dropped by 6%, reaching the lowest levels since 2016. The total sales value of commercial housing was 11.7 trillion yuan, a 6.5% decrease. Data from the real estate agency Zhongyuan Real Estate shows that in China's four wealthiest first-tier cities, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, the prices of second-hand homes in December dropped by 11% to 14% year-on-year. In the past, the value of properties in top-tier school districts in Beijing and Shanghai were thought to be ironclad due to strong demand from families and investors. Even small, old, and dilapidated units in these top school districts could command prices exceeding $28,000 per square meter. Now, however, the prices of school district properties have been consistently falling each month. In 2023, some of these properties have seen their prices drop by as much as $14,000 per square meter from their peak. According to a report from Eerily on January 23rd, a man named Mr. Dong sold his two-bedroom apartment and purchased a small, old, one-room unit within the school district in order to secure a spot for his daughter at a good local school. He spent nearly $560,000 on this property, which had an area of less than 40 square meters. Since the unit was too small for his family, Mr. Dong also rented a two-bedroom apartment near his workplace and rented out the school district property to cover the expenses. This practice, known as occupying a spot, involves purchasing the smallest and most expensive school district property units at the lowest price to secure a school enrollment spot for children. In practice, these units are too small for families, so many homeowners are forced to rent additional properties. However, as China's property prices began to decline in 2022, Mr. Dong has become increasingly anxious. He discovered that property prices were dropping almost every month, with prices significantly lower than when he purchased the unit. The price he paid for the one-room unit is now enough to buy a two-bedroom apartment in the same neighborhood, leaving Mr. Dong full of regret. The second-hand property market in China is even more grim now. As China's economy continues to decline, many households are considering selling their excess properties for cash. Consequently, the second-hand property market is oversaturated, leading to price wars, with agencies offering lower prices, better amenities, and more luxurious interiors, resulting in a highly competitive market. Recently, many real estate agents in China have taken to Douyin, a popular short video platform, to analyze the situation of their localities. For instance, the following is a report from a financial services industry employee on the current situation in the Shanghai second-hand property market. It's as if overnight, all the landlords in Shanghai have started buying houses. And I don't know what suddenly happened, but they all seem to be in a hurry. From what I know, in some areas of Shanghai, the daily increase in listings reached over 1,000. But not a single property is being sold each day. Nobody is even going to view these properties. Some are in urgent need of cash and are waiting to sell their properties to liquidate their assets, while others want to exchange for larger properties. Even if they've lowered their prices, they still can't find buyers. Even properties with nice amenities and convenient transportation are not attracting any interest. This has left both landlords and real estate agents feeling very anxious, constantly trying to find solutions to the problem of selling properties. Even more affordable foreclosed properties in China are currently facing a situation where the supply of housing units is steadily increasing while transaction volumes are declining. According to a report from the China Real Estate Research Institute, as of December last year, there were 796,000 foreclosed properties listed in the Chinese market, marking an increase of 214,000 units compared to the previous year, with a growth rate of 36.7%. The total number of listings reached a new high. In 2022, a total of 583,000 foreclosed properties were listed in China, with 126,000 units transacted, resulting in a transaction rate of 21.7%. However, in 2023, there were 796,000 foreclosed properties listed, with 147,000 units transacted, and a reduced transaction rate of 18.4%, marking a 3.3% year-on-year decline in transaction rates. The exceptionally low transaction rates for foreclosed properties raise concerns, indicating that prices for these properties are likely to continue their downward trend. Foreclosed properties primarily originate from individuals or businesses that were unable to repay their loans. The increasing number of foreclosed properties suggests that a growing portion of the Chinese population is struggling to afford mortgage repayments, leading to both voluntary and involuntary loan defaults. Behind these statistics lie the stories of numerous individuals who have dedicated years to paying off their mortgages, only to find themselves left with nothing. Under China's foreclosed property pricing system, during the first auction, the starting price must not be lower than 70% of the estimated market value. In the event that it does not sell, the second auction should not have a reduction exceeding 20% of the initial starting price, equivalent to 56% of the property's market value. Considering other factors, the starting price during the second auction can sometimes drop to around 50% of the market value. However, it is concerning that although foreclosed properties provide opportunities for good deals, the rate of auctions ending without a buyer is increasing. Even significantly discounted foreclosed properties are struggling to find buyers in the current market. The exceptionally low transaction rates for foreclosed properties are primarily due to a significant portion of potential buyers waiting on the sidelines, anticipating further price reductions for these distressed properties. As foreclosed property prices continue to decline, it will likely place additional financial burdens on property owners, causing their debt levels to rise even further, making their financial situations even more challenging. So why has there been a sudden surge in the number of foreclosed properties? Recent waves of layoffs and business closures have swept across China, with numerous enterprises, both large and small, shutting their doors. Many of the middle-aged individuals who have lost their jobs were previously the primary breadwinners of their families, and most of them are still repaying their mortgages. With their career prospects disrupted and financial resources dwindling, some have made the difficult decision to default on their home loans, resulting in their properties being repossessed by banks and seized by the courts. This has left many who had worked diligently for years with nothing to show for it. Do you know how many people in Shenzhen are choosing to default on their mortgages because they can't afford them? Currently, Shenzhen produces hundreds of foreclosed properties every month, each representing a shattered and struggling family. Did they choose this path willingly? It's because nearly 20% of the population in Shenzhen doesn't have a stable job to guarantee their monthly income. Many people may earn 3,000 to 5,000 yuan per month, but if they are suddenly laid off or face unemployment, they simply can't afford the high monthly mortgage payments. If you are not in dire need right now and lack a stable source of income, I strongly advise against overextending yourself to buy a house. What is known as mortgage default in China is not simply giving up your property to minimize losses. It's more akin to being financially squeezed. Not only do you lose your property, but you may also end up owing money to the bank and damaging your social credit score. Let's take a look at the situations of these two individuals.
I'm about to default on my mortgage because I lost my job today. I'm not only unemployed, but also in debt for 1.2 million yuan. With overdue credit card payments and a blacklisted credit score. Can you believe this is happening to a 36-year-old with a prestigious university degree? But this is the harsh reality, and it feels like I've achieved nothing. Every day as soon as I wake up, I'm reminded of the pressure of a 7,000 to 8,000 yuan monthly mortgage. Can you bear such a burden if you're unemployed? The court's judgment has arrived, and it not only led to the seizure of one of my properties, but also froze all of my bank accounts. Even the meager 60 yuan left in my WeChat wallet was frozen, and I incurred additional fees totaling over 100,000 yuan. These fees include penalties for default, interest, handling fees for the mortgage, legal litigation costs, property preservation fees, and more. I've also been placed on a credit blacklist. They say I won't be able to take high-speed trains or even flights in the future. I've heard that my child's education will be affected as well. I just want to slap myself.
Compared to in Western countries, defaulting on a mortgage in China is a terrifying choice. Many believed that they could minimize their losses by defaulting, but even after a foreclosure, they are still required to pay a multitude of fees, in addition to their initial down payments, which can amount to over $1,000,000. Chinese citizens have faced tremendous hardships, nearly emptying their wallets just to buy a house, only to find that most of their money has been taken away by the government and banks. Regrettably, stories like these are unfolding almost daily in major Chinese cities. As unemployment continues to rise, more people are opting to default on their properties, ushering in an era of defaults and debt in China. As per the data released by the central bank, by the end of 2023, approximately 780 million people in China were in debt, with 420 million individuals facing overdue payments, constituting 29% of the total population. This means that roughly 1 out of every 3 individuals has overdue debt. The total amount of overdue credit card debt exceeded 200 billion yuan, with the nation's total debt reaching nearly 30 trillion yuan, averaging out to 200,000 to 300,000 yuan per person. Moreover, 560 million people had no savings at all, and 8 million people became subject to enforcement for loss of creditworthiness, accounting for 6% of the population. In essence, 1 out of every 17 individuals is now marked as untrustworthy. With the Chinese economy still in decline and continued layoffs and business closures, the true extent of indebtedness among the Chinese population remains undisclosed. If office spaces are considered indicators of a city's and nation's economic health, reflecting the development cycles of finance and technology industries, then real estate directly mirrors China's GDP. Real estate constitutes nearly 70% of the assets of the Chinese people. Therefore, in China, real estate directly impacts GDP, influencing both the Chinese Communist Party and state-owned banks' interests. Now it seems that the Chinese real estate market is collapsing, which in turn is causing a collapse in China's finance and economy. The Chinese people are also finding it increasingly difficult to cope. In the future, we may witness either intense resistance or the Chinese society collectively giving up.